Get it. Here we go. All right. All right. Well, good morning. So every Monday in the month of August, we've committed ourselves to sharing about this lesson in regards to finish strong, starting better. So the whole concept behind this is that I believe that many of us have a lot to do, and because we have a lot to do, we have to take a runway approach to this. When I was in Georgia this weekend, I was leaving the conference, the 3D Men's Conference. Shout out to Pastor Campbell of the Faith Center. Listen, if you're not following him on social media, please do so. The Faith Center of Tucker, Georgia. Go follow the church. And then he has a personal professional page called the Vincent Campbell Brand, VC, Vincent Campbell. You have to follow him. He's a man that is leading both spiritually as well as professionally, and some crazy dope things that he's doing. You just got to be a part. So shout out to the 3D Men's Conference. What a great experience. So when you have a great experience like that and you're from out of town, if you don't drive in, many times you fly in. Well, that was me. As I was leaving the 3D Men's Conference, headed back to the hotel to pick up my golf clubs. Yes, my golf clubs. I got a text message from American Airlines. The text message says, Flight 1429 has been canceled. My flight was canceled. Well, normally that's not a problem because right behind one flight being canceled is a new flight and a new time to get out. Unfortunately, there were no times available on American Airlines for me to get out of Georgia to get back to Texas. So I did what others would do. I had two choices. One, stay overnight in the airport or go get a hotel room or book another flight. I decided I'm ready to get back home. And I had to say that because the brother that decided to come with me, we had a snore fest in our room. So I didn't get no good sleep up in Georgia. So I was ready to get back home to my bed. So I booked another flight on Southwest Airlines. I got back home. When I got onto the flight, the first thing that took place is we went through the regular precautionaries, and then the flight went down the runway before it took off. That's the word I've been telling you, that people of greatness have to plan out their world just as you would take an airplane versus having a helicopter. You don't want to just lift up, you want to have the runway experience, which is your planning, in order for you to get everything out of what it is you're supposed to get in your year. So the people that are coming on the call, I've really been challenging you to get forth, get to thinking about your year in advance, not from December 31st, but starting right now. How do I finish strong? How do I start better? All right. So with that being in mind, let me tell you a couple of things that's going to happen. Number one, there's nothing I'm selling, so you can relax and just get ready to receive. Number two, this is a fast paced call with lots of actionable content. Number three, I've set aside time to answer all of your questions. Four, for showing up, I have a gift for you. 15-minute coaching call. It's a private one-on-one call where we can talk about one of the major things that's important to you. And the fifth thing is your responsibilities. I want you to commit to take action on your ahas. All right, let's jump right in. Define. So, with defining who you are and what you're going to do, you got to do this with clarity. This takes effort. This takes time. This takes questions. This takes you really looking at you and finding out who you are and finding out what you want to do. I shared a session at the conference, didn't have a clue I was going to be talking until about 3 days prior to coming. I just came to receive. Ultimately, I had a session. After my session, I stayed and talked to a gentleman for about 15 to 20 minutes during our lunch portion. And he asked me some questions. He said, how did you come up with what it is that you do? I thought that was a powerful question because many times people just do something because they see somebody else doing it, but it's not really the thing that they're supposed to do. Here's what I told him. I started examining the pieces of my life which helped me define the purpose of my life. If I was taking note, I'd write that down, right? You got to examine the pieces of your life, the pieces of your life. Those are the things that happen in stages, the big things. So when I did it for my life, I realized that all of my life, I've been number one at being number two. I've been in situations where my role was to really help elevate the next person's role. Point guard in high school basketball. It wasn't for me to score all the points, but it was for me to position my shooting guard, my small forward, give them the ball at the right time in the right spaces in order for them to score so that the team could win. What I found myself doing on the job was helping people, teaching people, coaching people so that they could sell more, so they could enjoy more, they could have more, being number one and being number two. So I found myself in each situation, the pieces of my life, which helped me define the purpose of my life. When you define that, it normally starts wide. Let me be honest with you, even with the CIS U to win, it started real wide. It started with just the heart of wanting to help people win. But over time, I kept refining and defining to the place of clarity that I know my target audience. And with my target audience, I don't want to miss anymore. I function from the concept that if I only had one bullet to shoot, you got to know where the target is and you got to know that you're lined up and you got to know that you're going to hit it. But I want to tell you, you got more than one bullet to shoot. But you got to function as if you only have one. So defined is the location and destination. Where are you right now? Where do you desire to be? From those two points, there's the detailed instructions that we'll start to be able to download that will tell us how to get there. That's your roadmap. That's your game plan. If I can look at your game film, it helps me determine your game plan. What works for you? What didn't work for you? What do you do well? What don't you do well? Some people are great communicators, but they're not organized. Some people are better organizers than they are communicators. So your skill set will determine what your game plan looks like for your success. That's called strategy to me. But until you have clarity, you don't need strategy. You don't need strategy because you got to first have clarity. So define. How do you define where you are, what you desire to do, who you want to help? For those that are on the call, like Dr. John Mack, he's been a part of our coaching circles for 4 or 5 years. He is a book specialist, a brand specialist. He helps people with the book, but helps them determine a brand and expand their brand, expand who they are, gives them something to hook people with, to tell their story with, to ultimately launch them into places and rooms that they would never have gotten into if they didn't have a tool. He helps them organize their thoughts, put it on paper, tell their story in such a compelling way that people now see them not as a good person, but as an expert in a specific area. Here's what I'll tell you right now is that if you try to do too many, you'll be good at a lot, but you won't be an expert in a few. And where you are and what you're having to compete against in this generation is you're competing not against good people, you're competing actually against experts. So when you're competing against an expert, you can't give them a good product and think that you're going to win. You got to give them an excellent product. So that's the reason why I want you to define. One of the things that we said years ago is that if you will dig a ditch, if you'll first find a niche, then dig a ditch, if you'll stay there long enough, it can make you rich. Not just rich in money, but rich in opportunity, rich in your impact that you make, right? Because that's what we're all about. We're impact over income. At the same token, if we do it right, you should be able to do both. So define. The second word is align. Once I define, I can now align. I can align my resources. I can align uh, my connections. I can align all of the things that matter in order for me to get there. You don't have to hang out with everybody, but you do have to hang out with somebody. And you got to have some people in your world that's going to help push you to that next place. For me, I have a Pastor Campbell. He's an alignment for me. I have a Lisa Nichols. She helped me with my communication. I have a John Maxwell who helped me with my leadership. So different people serve different functions. One person doesn't have to do everything, right? So you gotta have these strategic partnerships, is what I call them, right? Partnering with the right people for the right reason for a specific outcome, right? So align. From an alignment stage, I want to assign. When we assign, that is where I get these dates and deadlines. You got to put some pressure on your life. If you don't, you'll always be saying down the road, I'm about to, I'm fixing to, I'm getting ready to, I hope to, one day it will happen. No, no, no. Dates and deadlines put pressure on us. It puts us in a place of accountability where I'm accountable to get things done. Dr. John's getting ready to do a conference here in the area. Hey, Dr. Mack, will you unmute yourself real quick?
Sure.
Okay, is your conference, is it has any virtual opportunities where somebody could watch it virtually?
Yes, we're implementing that piece today. I've got a gentleman that is going to not only videograph it, but he's also going to stream it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll make sure that each of you that are on the call today, and then as well as all the people that attended the calls previously, we'll send out a mass email to all those as well, because you got to see this. You got to see the concept of what he's going to do with the authors and how they're going to be able to really tap into a market of people. The point, though, is that with his conference, he had to have dates and deadlines. There were things that he had to get done. There was a flyer that had to be. There were connections he had to make. There was the room location. And if he waited to the last minute, he wouldn't have a place to drive people to. So your success is in your setup. Your setup is in your organization of how you detail it out. So everything that is defined is aligned, and everything aligned needs to be assigned. This is where I start to put structure. I start to put framework around my idea. Thoughts become things, but things don't become thoughts without it being extracted and then a plan of action and then it being executed. All right, how do I execute? We execute through MIIA. That is massive, immediate, and perfect action. Massive, immediate, and perfect action. I'll say it again. Massive, yeah, big, bold, disruptor, interrupter. Immediate, right now. Yeah, right now. Let me use what I have, what I know. Let me use where I am, because I believe what you have right now gets you to your next place. Imperfect. I'm not going to wait until it's perfect, because it never will be. There always will be tweaks that I have to make along the way. But I got to get to the word action. Intentions are great. Thoughts are wonderful. But if they don't get transferred into action, the universe will not respond. The law of connections, the law of attraction is where I have thoughts that I act upon. And when I act, the universe responds. Have you ever found that when you needed something, the teacher shows up? Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Your attraction is going to have that. Then the final thing is apply pressure. Yeah, I want you to push the gas to it. I want you to give all that you have. I want you to make sure that you don't leave no stone unturned, that you really give everything that you have, give the best of you, because the best you is going to be what the people, your tribe needs. Tribes are individuals that now congregate together and they all have a common goal. But tribes don't start off in packs, they start off as individuals. So I want you to not get discouraged of where you start, but I want you to see vision of what it could be but know that you have to start in your rookie season. So I conclude this morning with this right here is that when you are a rookie, you have to be more consumed with your regimen than your results. Now I'm about to say something right here, and I just did. I just dropped one on you. When you're a rookie, you have to be more consumed with your regimen, your routine, than the results. Because if you're connected to just the results, you'll quit. But if you're connected to the regimen and the routine, you'll realize that the results follow regimen. That's where it does. It does. It follows your routine. It follows your daily habits. It follows the things you do consistently. And if you'll do that, I know that your fourth quarter of this year you'll finish strong, and your first quarter of next year you'll start better. All because you have the regimen for the routine that gains you the results that you desire. All right, at this time, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to open up for a quick Q&A. I'm going to answer some questions from you, and then we'll wrap up this morning. All right.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, and me and Ev have had kind of some conversation about this. So, what do you do when you get to the step of action? And for married couples, there's not agreement there. There's not agreement. I'm right now I'm in a season of looking at finances and trying to find ways to save money. And we balanced our books yesterday, and we got to a place where we understood all that we're paying out is equivalent, like almost down to the dollar, equivalent to what we're bringing in. So for me, looking for opportunities of savings and what we already have is a logical decision. But for my wife, there's hesitancy there. So how do you deal with those moments where you're ready to act, she's not ready to act?
Yeah. Okay, good question. Great question. So first off, this is where we combine natural wisdom with spiritual wisdom. Spiritual wisdom makes natural wisdom. So scripture says, how can two walk together unless they are agreed? So until I come into agreement, there needs to be no walking, right? So we're still in communication stage. We're still in let's talk about it stage. Let's figure it out stage. So at this present moment, we got to now bring vision, because vision has to always drive the big picture. The big picture always drives the decisions, right? So when I get to the place of that, what is the big decision, or what's the vision? We want to be in a place where we're financially whole. Okay, there we go. All right. So now, if that is the thing, now the question becomes, sometimes the answer is the question. So how do we get there? Hey, I think we both agree that we want to be X. Yep. Okay. Right now, we're just not agreeing on the road we're supposed to take. No problem. So let's talk about the road. Let's talk about both options. Let's just talk about the pros and cons of how do you see us getting there? Okay, great. Yeah. How do I see us getting there? Okay, great. Now, how can we merge some of what you see and some of what I see? And how do we now come up with the plan that we can say we see? Right? So sometimes it's in the next question, not in us the quick answer or the, hey, this is what we're going to do. No, this is how we got here this way. So now let's get out of this together, because the power of agreement will supersede anything. Because once you two are together and agree, whatever you fight from that next place, it's okay, because we are in agreement. When we're not, it becomes, I told you so, or I told you so, right? And we're not looking for a win-lose. We're looking for a win-win. And we get win-win out of communication and communication to the big vision. That makes sense?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So here's what I'm saying. Hang out there until we come into agreement. Don't let old school manhood. I say old school manhood. Don't let old school manhood say we just gonna do this because I'm the head. No, because let's be truthful. Sometimes we're in what we're in because old school boyhood got us here. Right? So if old school boyhood got us here, I can't come into brand new transformation and all of a sudden manhood just say, this is how we just gonna get out of this. I mean, you just gotta just come on with me. No, let me honor the fact that you were committed even in my mess. So now let's come out of this though together, because at the end of the day, I want to do this with you, not in spite of you.
That's good. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me ask a quick question in reference to what you said about competition, that you're competing against experts. So I guess the real question is, how do we craft and brand ourselves as that expert when we're competing against other experts so that we can feel confident that we are an expert?
I like it. I like it. So first off, yes, we are competing against, but so let me back up here. In the course of us competing at C-Suite, in the course of us competing against, there's the development of. So everybody has a rookie class to their idea. Come on, you got to catch this right here. Here's where it is. Everybody has a rookie class to their idea. What I mean is every coach has players that's supposed to play with them. Now, while you are developing who you are, it should increase your value in the marketplace. And as it increases your value in the marketplace, it increases your influence and your spread, your reach and relevancy. So though I'm competing against, because there's other people that do books, but there are still people that only see me as books. So I'm going to give you the best of me in my books. And as I keep developing me, right, I'm going to now have greater influence of people that I should be able to do books with because I kept getting better. My business can start with how it is right now today, but tomorrow my business should have a greater impact because I never stopped because I already had a business. Some people's business stops at the place of their development. This is why I always say, you've heard me say this for years, Johnny, is that personal growth also is incorporated in professional advancement. And if you don't continue to grow personally, then it will stifle and it will hold back what you get professionally. A level 7 leader will not have 8s and 9s and 10s follow them for too long. They'll get frustrated and they'll say, I quit. So you have to say, how do I get from level 7 to a level 8 as a leader? How do I go from level 8 to level 9? Because I can always get people underneath my level, but I'm not getting people above my level. So I have to keep personal development there.
That says it in a nutshell, because at the men's prayer call, our focus is spiritual growth times personal development equals maximized manhood. And that's operating in it exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anybody else?
All right, fellas, I just got to work, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump off.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for inviting somebody. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Sir, y'all too.
Hey, no questions here, man, but that was extremely, extremely rich. I'm like, man, I'm overflowing with my mind is racing. Like you said, it was fast, but a lot of clear and concise, actionable steps.
Man,
And
good stuff.
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
All right, all right. Well, good, man. Y'all gents, man, y'all go knock it out. Y'all go win today. If there's anything I can do today, ever in the future, you please know I'm here, assist you to win, the connecting place for winners. This is what we do. We add value to people's life. So we appreciate each of you. God bless you. I'll talk with you later.